In Chabi Alonso's hunt to add experience to the squad, Chelsea have now been linked with 35-year-old journeyman striker Danny Welbeck. And another bomb has been dropped that Chelsea will also be willing to listen to offers for strikers Liam Delap and newly acquired Emegha. And this morning, manager Chabi Alonso did his longest and most detailed press conference yet, and we're going to get into some of the really interesting things he had to say about the upcoming season. Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And man, this one got me. Do you know what? I'm really lucky. I'd literally prepared the whole video just based around Chabi Alonso's press conference, and I always do one little cursory check of Twitter just before I start recording, and lo and behold, David Ornstein is dropping bombs all over the place. So let's have a look at what's going on with the striker situation. David Ornstein posted this: Chelsea exploring move to sign Danny Welbeck from Brighton and Hove Albion. Terms end 2027, and Brighton aware of interest. Early stage, but optimism on all sides, deals can be done. Quality and leadership appeals to Alonso via The Athletic and Kieran Gill. Mate, this one's wild. So look, does this mean that we're not looking to get John Stones anymore? I'm not even sure, because something came out a little while ago that said we're going in for John Stones because we've been knocked back for Granit Xhaka and he wants that leadership in the squad. Now, it would make sense, I guess, to go for them both, especially with the striking situation when you consider the next tweet we're just about to get into. But let's just hang on to the Danny Welbeck thing for a minute. Do I rate it? Oh, do you know what? Kind of, and it's a weird one actually. Like, if you'd have asked me this like a few years ago, I'd have been like, no, absolutely not. But seeing what a lack of experience has done to our squad, it's done to our ability to hold on in games and, you know, win in last moments and stuff, and it's not always just about the guy that can score 20 plus goals a season. Do you know who I really miss, and I never thought I would? Olivier Giroud, right? Olivier Giroud was the maybe most inconsistent striker. Like, 10% of the time, he was the best player in the world. He would score scorpion kicks and just be absolutely unbelievable and do things that most strikers could only ever dream of. 90% of the time, he just went missing in games. But ultimately, when he turned up, it was always really useful and he was a good striker to have around. Maybe I kind of feel the same about Danny Welbeck, man. Danny Welbeck has very rarely, not ever been the guy that scored. Has he ever scored 20 goals a season? I haven't looked yet. I'm purely reacting to the news, and I will be doing my due diligence after this video. But has he ever had an amazing season? He was a young upcoming player at Manchester United, and then he was sold to Arsenal, where he was reasonably good. I'm not sure if there's anywhere in between there, but obviously now he's ended up at Brighton. So Danny Welbeck has just been everywhere. He's just he is experience personified, and I find this really interesting. So I watch a lot of The Club with Adam McCullough and Rory Jennings and Boovy, and Adam McCullough is saying all of the time, I want Danny Welbeck back. He's shipping it. He's absolutely shipping it. And there must be a reason for that, because, he's, not always the best opinions, but he's a really level-headed fan with generally good ideas. So, a little bit from that, and a little bit just from the whole fact that we need experience in the squad. Yeah, man, I guess in the same way that I would be happy to see John Stones in the squad, right? I'm not thinking Danny Welbeck comes in and fights for first place, but to have that journeyman, that guy that's been everywhere. He's played in the Champions League, he's spent a little bit of time in the England squad, he's played at the top level, albeit never the guy that's, gone on and won your leagues or whatever. It was never really about that with Danny Welbeck. But at the same time, he is a good Premier League striker, and at Brighton over the last 2 seasons, he scored 23 goals. If we could get 20 goals out of Danny Welbeck over the next 2 seasons, mate, Liam Delap scored 2 in 41 appearances. 2 goals in 41 appearances. Absolutely horrendous. So it's a massive instant upgrade to the backup striker when it comes to João Pedro, right? So let's move on to the next news about if Danny Welbeck comes in. Do you know what? This is just so wild. I actually kind of love it, but it is still really bizarre, isn't it? But anyway, let's move on to the next piece of news. Chelsea Dodgers reposted this via David Ornstein. Breaking: Chelsea will listen to offers for Liam Delap and Emegha. Oh dear. So Liam Delap, I'm not particularly surprised about, because, as I just mentioned, 2 goals in 41 appearances. I haven't watched loads of the training stuff in Australia, but Tim, a guy that's out there, said that apparently his finishing is still not looking amazing. And we knew this was coming one way or the other. We knew that we've got so many strikers on the books at the moment. We've still got Jackson, Emegha, Delap, Mark Hughes. We've got loads of guys to get rid of. And Liam Delap was always going to be one of the ones that, unless Chabi Alonso came in, looked at him and went, I can turn this guy into a beast, he was probably always going to go. Can you imagine being Liam Delap, like a 22-year-old Liam Delap, and you're getting shafted for Danny Welbeck? That's well funny, isn't it? So we'll stick on Delap for a minute. As far as Delap goes, I don't think we'll have any problem selling him. There's already been suitors vis-a-vis Newcastle and Everton. Everton a couple of times have mentioned that they're interested in Liam Delap. This is not new. This is not brand new information. This has been going on for a while. It always looked like that Chabi Alonso was going to need the opportunity to get in there, have a look at the squad, work with the guys and see what goes on and see what happens, right? So, yeah, I think Liam Delap will get 30 mil for him. I think I genuinely believe we'll get the money back that we paid for him, because even though he did badly at Chelsea, because he's so young and he scored 12 goals for Ipswich when they got promoted, most teams that will be interested in him, the likes of Everton and Newcastle, will look at that and be like, 30. You got to think Newcastle paid like 70, 80 mil for Voltemada last season, and how much for Visser. So at the end of the day, bring a Liam Delap in and play to his strengths, which is what we never really did, to be honest, because he's not the kind of striker that fits in our team. He was a market opportunity, but you can get goals out of him. So I imagine Liam Delap will probably not take long to go. Emmanuel Emegha, this one's fascinating, man, because look, it says offers, right? It says offers, so that could be loan offers, I guess. It would be really indicative of a shift in the mentality of Blueco and who's calling the shots and who's making the decisions if Emmanuel Emegha gets sold. That'd be wild. If Emmanuel Emegha actually gets sold, that'd be absolutely wild, because we bought him at the back end of last season, and the idea, well, we agreed the deal, and then the idea was he stays at Strasbourg, but he spent a lot of time getting injured. Supposedly there were some attitude issues and stuff over there as well, like he fell out with Liam Rosenior a couple of times, and there was a little bit of worry about what was going to go on there, but like I say, ultimately he didn't make that many appearances, albeit he was banging them away. He's a good striker. If we sell him, like, linking it to other news, about a month ago, maybe getting towards a month and a half ago, a while ago now, Crystal Palace apparently inquired about taking him on loan. Now, I'd be interested to see him get a Premier League loan for sure. I don't think you loan him to a European team. I think you loan him to a Premier League team or sell him. Like, and the thing is, we don't know how much we paid for him yet either. Like, he's here in the squad. Like, I've got no idea how much we paid for Emmanuel Emegha. I can't assume it'd be that much, because if it was, we probably wouldn't be looking to get offers for him so far. But if Emmanuel Emegha is already on the chopping block, that is just more evidence that Chabi Alonso has come in, put his foot down and been like, I don't want this guy, I don't want this guy, I need this, I need that. Get me Danny Welbeck, John Stones and Granit Xhaka. Like, I absolutely love it, man. As fans, what we've been saying for the last few years is we are crying out for experience in the team, right? Absolutely crying out. But more so than that, like, in the likes of Enzo Maresca and Liam Rosenior, the yes men who essentially came in and agreed to, work the way that Blueco wanted them to work. Obviously, probably thought this as well, but at the same time, they were like, this is the contract we've signed, this is the deal we've signed up for, so we just go forward with the youth. Chabi Alonso has come in and he is making big decisions very, very quickly. Forget about the players that we're bringing in at the moment, like Emmanuel Emegha and Liam Delap is not a huge surprise. Emmanuel Emegha is a bit of a surprise, but less so if we loan him. But if we sell him, that's massive. So, guys, let me know what you think about the striking situation at the moment, because it is just a little bit wild, isn't it? Danny Welbeck? Look, I'm kind of here for it. Again, like John Stones, if he plays 10, 15, 20 goal games a season, which he won't because we're not even in Europe. Occasional cup games and, bringing on at the last minute and stuff. Or, if we need an extra striker on, you bring him up and plays up top with João Pedro or whatever. The permutations are limitless. They're not limitless at all. It's Danny Welbeck. But at the same time, I like the fact that we're looking at something like this. It can't be very much money, I wouldn't have thought either, bearing in mind he's got no time left on his deal. He's 35 years old. Maybe. Same as, he's older than Granit Xhaka, so maybe it's even less than that. Maybe it's like 5-6 mil. 5-6 mil for Danny Welbeck. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. And do you think we sell both Liam Delap and Emegha, or just one of the two? Guys, if you've made it this far into today's crazy episode of the Stamford Sync, please do me the distinct honour of liking and sharing the video, subscribe to the channel, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. Right, so that's the mad, wild craziness out of the way. Next up, we're going to take a little look at a lot of the things that Chabi Alonso said in his press conference today, which was fascinating. Like I said, initially this video was pretty much just going to be about the press conference, but because of the bombers, the striker bombers that are dropping, I've thinned it down, I've cut some stuff out, and we're just going to focus in on the important stuff. So, Chelsea Dodgers posted this question asked by Peter Rutzler. We want to build a competitive team. We are in that process. We have great quality, great talent, and we need to know what it takes to compete in the Premier League. We want a squad with with the right balance between quality and mentality. Those things need to match in terms of maturity stage, where you are in your career, the hunger, the desire, the commitment. But I think we are starting the new season with a good energy. That's important. So I guess there's nothing really, like, it's just good to hear it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, he doesn't, Maresca didn't say very much, and, Liam Rosenior obviously said a bit too much. Do you know what I mean? Like, flounced his words a little bit. So what I'm enjoying with Chabi Alonso is it's really direct, it's really to the point, and it's stuff that we as fans have been calling out for absolutely ages. And he's doubling down on the mentality thing, the maturity thing. It's interesting because that is the closest he's come to saying, I'm working with a young squad. He's not saying I'm working with a young squad. He's saying maturity is important, right? And that maturity has cost us over the last few seasons. So just off the bat, I found that really interesting. He was asked about the system by Peter Rutzler as well, and had this to say: we will be flexible in our tactics, in our approach, in our game plans. We have our principles. What we want can be the same, but we have tried and we will try different ideas. It's about updating, developing something they have done with new concepts, which each manager has. So, obviously, the big question that rages on, the debate about what's going on with Chelsea next year, is largely pertaining to the system, the formation, right? And what it's going to be, as much as, like, I keep saying three at the back, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't really matter, because the foundations of what Chabi Alonso wants to do is possession-based football with a high press and structured play, but allowing players to dynamically react to what's going on around them, right? So Maresca was very much, you be here, you do this at all times. Everyone's got like loads and loads of information about where they need to be in any given situation. Liam Rosenior tried to do something a little bit like what Chabi Alonso wants to do, or has classically done with like Bayer Leverkusen and Real Madrid, but wasn't very good at it. So, with Chabi Alonso, there's going to be deep tactical instruction, but there's also going to be emphasis on the players reading the game to be like, right, so Cole Palmer, for instance, okay, when this guy's got the ball, I want you to be there. But if you see something open up and you've got the ball, go for it. Express yourself. Be free. Try and make something happen. So those are the principles of Chabi Alonso's football. And the tactical principles seem to favour wide players, but not in the same way that Enzo Maresca did, right? Because Enzo Maresca was like, get the ball out to the wingers, get them to drive it up, and if they can't beat their man or there isn't a cross there, get them to pass it back, recycle it, and then it will go in and around, and we just saw so much recycled football, didn't we? Chabi Alonso seems to be much more about, get it out wide, but make stuff happen. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think we're going to see this boring possession kind of style football that we saw with Enzo Maresca. I think it's going to be a lot more interesting. So the thing about the formation is it could be a three at the back, but what I've said a few times already, and bearing in mind, so far in the two behind closed doors preseason games, what's come out is we played in a 4-2-3-1. You can play in a 4-2-3-1 and play three at the back. Like, obviously, Enzo Maresca showed us that, and I haven't got the quote here, actually, but in the same interview, he said something, he was asked about the tactics, and he said that the tactics will be similar to what the players are used to already. What are the players used to already? Playing with a back three, regardless of whether they start in a back three or start in a back four. When Enzo Maresca was in tow, it was always about the fullback inverting into midfield, which allowed Enzo Fernandez to push forward. But ultimately, it was three at the back, box midfield, three attackers up top. So, that is what the squad is used to. Now, you can do different things with that. Like, ultimately, I don't think we're going to see inverting midfielders. You look at the likes of Marco Palestra. He's not an inverting midfielder. He is a wing-back who's going to bomb up. But there's loads of ways to achieve that, starting from a 4-2-3-1. Like, maybe you defend in that 4 and you attack in that 3. Marco Palestra could start at right wing. Do you know what I mean? In a 4-2-3-1 on the right-hand side, because he generally plays that advanced attacking right-hand position anyway. But instead of Morgan Rogers playing out on the left wing, him and Cole Palmer drift in, and then your left back kind of pushes up. Do you know what I mean? It's potentially a very fluid formation. But the things that he said makes me think that the core of the attack will be based on 3 centre-backs, box midfield, wide wing-backs, right? Whether we start in a back 3 or a back 4 doesn't really matter, because you can kind of always get to there. And the other interesting thing about Chabi Alonso's style as well is it's very adaptable. There was a Dr. Konstantin Connor, I think it was. I can't remember his name exactly, but he was a Bayer Leverkusen journalist in the season that Chabi Alonso was at Bayer Leverkusen. And he said one of the things that was really interesting was He would always start with the same formation, but you would see very obviously that players were given different roles from game to game, right? So, you know, Jeremy Frimpong, for instance, might be staying wide one game, might be cutting in another game, might be, you know, so even though like the principles always remain the same, but he would adapt based on the opponents that he's got. Because you've got managers like Enzo Maresca, and you've got managers like Pep Guardiola who are like, this is my thing, this is my system, this is what we do. Occasionally, like the thing with Maresca, he would adapt to the big teams, actually. It was just whenever we were playing anyone else, he'd be like, nope, we play this way. Pep Guardiola, obviously, arguably the best manager of all time in the world with everything that he won. He was always very much like, this is my style of football, this is how we play, and we just force that on the opponent rather than being like, oh, we're playing Man U today, got to watch out for this guy, let's change this up. There had been a bit of that, but Pep's tactics were based on a lot more of his own philosophy. Now, Chabi Alonso seems to be the slightly more adaptable type, which is really good because we've got lots of versatile players that can play different roles in different positions and stuff as well. So look, I'm just excited for it, man. I'm just excited for it. And, you know, as much as I feed into it, because I'm a football nerd and I love the tactics and the formations and all this, that and the other, like, I think it's just not going to be as simple as that. But ultimately, I think that's a good thing because it will be another thing we've got that will keep opponents guessing. Right, so Chabi Alonso was also asked about Morgan Rogers, and this is interesting and kind of feeds in a little bit to what I've been saying as well. This was asked by Bobby Vincent. Chabi Alonso on where he sees Morgan Rogers' best position. One of his best qualities is that he is flexible. In that pocket position, close to the striker, close to our number 10, he's played as well on the right side, but coming on from the left. He feels he is enjoying his game, his flow, and I'm sure he will have good connections with the other players around him. If we get those connections right, that will be a great step forward in the quality of our game. So players like Morgan Rogers are going to afford Chabi Alonso the flexibility to play how he wants, do you know what I mean? And you know, because one day Morgan Rogers will be the dual pocket 10, and that might be what he does most of the time. But if there's an opposition that you're going to play against where that doesn't work, maybe he's better off in the centre and you actually shift Cole Palmer further out to the right, or vice versa, and you put someone faster on the opposite side. So having these kind of, like, Cole Palmer's a similar type of player as well, right? Like, ultimately the half space on the right side is where Cole Palmer does his best work and his most damage, but we know he can play well centrally, we know he can play well off of the right as well. We've basically got the same player on both sides now, and you can do so much with them, and that flexibility allows you to shape the rest of the squad how you want. Chabi Alonso was also asked about when Morgan Rogers was going to be ready by Kieran Gill of the Daily Mail, and he said this. Chabi Alonso on if Morgan Rogers will be ready for the season opener against Fulham on August the 24th. All the ones who come later because they reached the final stages of the World Cup will be ready. They have to be ready. Love that. Simple. No over-explaining or whatever. That's just the expectation of Chabi Alonso. You're going to be ready. We've got a season to kick into. Fine that you went on the World Cup or whatever, but we ain't got time to mess around. Let's go. Love it. He also spoke a little bit about how he would fit Morgan Rogers and Cole Palmer into the same team. Bobby Vincent asked him this. Chabi Alonso on if there is a plan in place for Morgan Rogers and Cole Palmer to play alongside each other. I have a plan. I have an idea. I can see them linking really well. We need to have a good mix. If we get the balance right and those special players in the right positions with good control, then we will be more competitive with the ball, and against the ball, we need to be good. Look, I can't wait to see these two boys play together, man. It is so exciting. Literally, it's so exciting. These two, they're both reasonably mercurial players. I guess you would argue Cole Palmer, based on what we've seen, has a bit more magic in him, and Morgan Rogers is a bit robust. But that is also a good thing because they have very similar qualities, but also they both lean in a slightly different way when it comes towards other things. Like I say, Morgan Rogers is physical and robust. Cole Palmer is very technical, excellent string puller. So they can, they can both do lots of different things, and them playing together is going to be sweet. And last but not least, Levi Colwill was asked about what it's like to play under Chabi Alonso, and he said this. It's an honour to play under a manager like him. He's been so good so far, and the training sessions have been really enjoyable. He wants us to play, be brave on the ball as a team, and that's what I want to do, even as a defender. He wants us to express ourselves and have the freedom to play passes and show off your qualities on the ball, which is perfect for me as I like to create attacks and show off my passing range, which he allows me to do. Hopefully we can show that in the game tomorrow, which we are all really, really looking forward to. Me too, buddy. Me too. So look, there seems to be an inordinate amount of respect from the squad towards Chabi Alonso at the moment. A lot of the stuff I cut out about today is how enamoured they are about him playing with them. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, Levi Colwill said something as well. He's like, you'll just be in training and he'll just ping these passes and they're absolutely perfect every single time. So he's still got that about him, and he's literally impressing the players on the field, which on its own is useless. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't matter if you can still ping a pass if you're not a good manager, vis-a-vis Steven Gerrard, for instance. Steven Gerrard, one of the best players of his generation, could not get that Aston Villa team kicking the way that he needed him to, right? But Chabi Alonso has this ability to show off and be like, look, I do this, or, you know, show them what it's like to be an absolute beast at what he does. But also he's got all of the man management, the tactical acumen. So ultimately, Chabi Alonso's playing ability and ability to play in training with the players isn't a good thing on its own, but it really supports everything else that he's got going on for him. And I absolutely love it, man. And it's just nice to hear the players have such nice things to say about the manager, right? Because, look, the players, you know, some players came out talking about how much they like Enzo Maresca only after he left. We didn't hear much about the players loving Liam Rosenior, apart from Cole Palmer, who come out and said he lets me play with freedom, and I love that. And that feels, in retrospect, more like it was a slight towards Enzo Maresca than it was a positive thing towards Liam Rosenior, because Liam Rosenior definitely didn't really get the best out of anyone apart from João Pedro. So, look, it's just nice to see all the players enjoying themselves, smiles on their faces. They all look in really good shape, bar the ones that are getting injured. But one of those looks like we're going to sell. So I'm just buzzing about it, man. First preseason game tomorrow. Absolutely can't wait. So excited. This is all just going really phenomenally well. And look, I just think I'm just starting to feel things, man. I'm just starting to feel things. I think we're going to be on for a really, really fun season, one way or the other. So guys, that's it. I'm going to wrap the video up there, but I want to know what you think about everything that we've talked about today. Danny Welbeck, 35-year-old Danny Welbeck. Is he the guy? Liam Delap and Manuel Emegha are available for sale. Liam Delap, I think, will go quickly. Emmanuel Emegha, I think, will be more difficult because of the injury issues. Right now, he's supposedly going to be injured until the beginning of the season. So we might not, you know, it would be a massive risk for a team to come in for him right now, looking at his injury issues over the last few seasons, combined with the fact that he's got an injury right now. Maybe it is a loan, you know, I don't know. They didn't specify. It just said that offers will be listened to. So if someone is willing to pay, I mean, this is the thing. It's really difficult with Emmanuel Emegha because we've got no idea how much we paid for him either. And Chabi Alonso speaks. He speaks very, very well. I'm very interested and excited about everything that he's got to say about the squad, the way he wants to manage them. And I love how they're talking about him already. I am super excited for next season, which feels like it starts tomorrow, even though it's just pre-season. Nice one, guys. Thanks very much for sticking around until the end of the video. If you did, I'll catch up with you all very, very soon. Take it easy. Peace.